Yeah, we've had other companies that we've talked to on this podcast about circularity, and they do different circular stuff. Everybody seems to have a different take on what is actually sustainable and circular. So what is the philosophy at Renewaball when it comes to that? Like you were just saying, like you feel like a ball should, downcycling is not recycling.
No, it really is recycling. So actually we used old material. The only thing we don't use is the felt. But there are some initiatives in the furniture industry to use the felt again, to find also purposes for that. Yeah. But also that is still in the beginning. So no, circular is that it's, that there's no end of life of this product. So it's continuously...
so you can keep recycling and keep getting... That's incredible.
And this is wool?
100% sheep wool from Europe.
Oh, so recycled sheep wool then, or virgin wool as well?
This is like from sheep in Norway and Yorkshire, yeah. And the good thing is that we can, if we can recycle our own balls, then we can reuse the wool again.
Yeah, exactly. Because it feels like a normal tennis ball, but I guess a normal tennis ball is made of polyester.
Yeah, polyester, mostly nylon is in there, and wool as well. Yeah.
That's incredible. No, I'm just in awe. Like I'm just looking at it and I'm like, that's incredible. Hi, and welcome to Poppin' Bubbles podcast, where we highlight impact-driven organizations by sharing some stories behind the scenes. I'm your host, Lisa.
And my name's Stefan, and today we are joined by Helene Hogebo, CEO of Renewaball.
Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's so nice to have you. If we could just start from what is Renewaball, what is that you do?
Even though the name might speak for itself. But.
Well, Renewaball is the world's first circular tennis and paddle ball. It's a ball made of old used balls we collect in Europe. And we separate the felt from the rubber. The rubber we use again, and we put 100% bio felt from Europe on top of it, which doesn't spread any microplastic. So that's in a nutshell.
So many questions.
Yeah,
so many questions.
That feels like it should have always been the case with tennis balls. That they've always should have been circular. I mean, how much waste is there in the tennis ball industry?
Well, we use like 600 million balls globally per year, and that's a lot of waste. So it's a lot of microplastics and a lot of rubber, and rubber takes 400 years to decompose. And microplastics, when you play inside, you inhale it. And we just did a study about how bad it is for you, for your health. And when you play outside, it ends up in the soil and in the rivers and in the sea. So, there's a lot of pollution out there, although sport is healthy, but
microplastics are not that healthy.
Yeah, no. So I guess you never think about it. Like I've been in a tennis space for like the past 15 years, and I swear to you, I've never thought about it. You just get a new balls. And I was just telling Stephen before the recording, it's you get a new box of tennis balls, you open them up, put them in the bin, and then, I don't know, a few weeks later, when you cannot use them anymore, they don't bounce, you just either throw them away, which never thought about where they go, or they end up as a toy for my dog.
Yeah, which is also not good for your dog.
Yeah, thinking about it, maybe we shouldn't have given them the actual balls.
No.
I think microplastics is a thing that from the recent years, right, that now we're only figuring out how large of a problem it actually is. Yeah. So how did you get involved with this? Like,
Well, I worked 27 years in advertising at TBWA, and so my background is CRM and data. And then in 2017, I thought if I want to do something else with my life, that's the turning point. So then I thought, okay, let's think about it for a year, what to do. And also, I have two daughters. They were a great inspiration because they're super into sustainability. They don't eat meat, they don't eat fish. They have a flight tax. And I was like, in advertising, you put so much garbage in the market without any responsibility. So I thought, well, I want to do something good, but I didn't know what at that time. And then during this period, my global CEO went to an English company. They make loyalty programs for big retailers. So you save plush animals, or in a supermarket you pay for cookware or all those things. So they produce all those things for those supermarkets globally. And my job then was to get everybody into digital saving via an app instead of making stamps, which is also more sustainable, of course, doing it digital. But I also immediately saw that we put so many garbage in the market. We produced so many stuff in China. And I said to the CEO, all those retailers have sustainable targets. They have to report on the sustainable development goals in their annual report. So I said to him, we have to do something about sustainability. And he said, that's a good idea. You're going to be a global lead sustainability. And I was like, wow, this is the best job you can imagine. I don't know anything about it. And then, so then I got budget, and one of my roomies from when I was studying here in Amsterdam worked at ERM, which is a big consultancy in the UK. And I asked her, what shall I do? Where shall I start? Can you help me out? And so on. So we started to develop the sustainable strategy for the company. And then also we did audits for the factories in China. And then I developed with a team in Italy cookware made from old tins, and we made plush animals from repat and knives that were CO2 neutral. So that's why I got to learn a lot about sustainability. And then once in a 3 year, I have lunch with an old colleague from TBWA, and he said that ABN AMRO came to him. They want to make the tennis tournament more sustainable, and they were looking into shoes, but it was super difficult. And then they looked into the balls because it's an indoor tournament, and all the yellow vessels are in the corners, and which is very bad for the cleaning companies because it destroys all their materials.
Like how it started.
That's an interesting idea.
Yes. So they were taking a deep dive into balls, and then they developed the sustainable for ABN AMRO, which was a giveaway, and people could actually bring their old balls to the tournament, hand them in, and we are going to make sustainables for them. But that was at that time a very bad ball. It was like what we call a camping ball, so it's nice for your dog, but not to play tennis. But there was a lot of appetite, and everybody liked the idea so much. So that's why the idea started of, bringing it to the next level in a different company with a new name. And he was telling me this story. At that time, the company didn't exist, and it was in the middle of Corona, and we could play tennis and we could play padel. So, and I come from a really sporting family, so we are really good with balls. So we can play tennis, we can play hockey, we can play golf. So a ball is very good enough. So he was telling me the story, and I was like, wow, this is such a great idea, because in advertising you get like millions of ideas from creatives. And I thought, this is the best idea I've ever seen. I want to be CEO of this startup. And then he said, yeah, but I am the CEO of this startup. And let's fight for it. Yes. And then the next day he called me and I said, well, I didn't know you had this sustainability background. So I think it's good that you're going to be the CEO of this company. And then then we had to officially started the company and had to raise funds, of course, and then we started in May 2021 as an official company.
Because my question was like all this stuff that you were mentioning, like how long ago are we talking? Like when was the first time that people started to ask the question, like all this stuff that we're offering in these loyalty programs, maybe it should be sustainable? How long ago was this?
This was in 2017.
Okay,
yeah. But nobody ever talked about it, because at that time it started a bit, and also because of the retailers have such sustainability goals, but they mainly did that with new refrigerators or LED lighting or that kind, but they didn't think about their loyalty programs because they earn a lot of money with it.
Yeah, I know actually, because like Albert Heijn and stuff like that, they have a lot of, there's so much stuff.
And it's always happening, something new. I
was at now I think they have something where they have like these like travel cups and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, those are so nice, but do I really need it?
Yeah.
No, I don't. But you're getting the stamps and you're like, maybe,
And you think it's for free, but you have to pay extra.
Yeah.
And they really make a lot of money with this.
Consumer behavior.
Consumer behavior.
Yeah.
And so then 5 years ago, how did that go with the current CEO? He just told you, fine, you can be the CEO of Renewaball?
He said it's a good idea. But at that time, I was still working at TCC. But then I was hired as a consultant for Dane Supermarkten. And I was there implementing their digital platform. And then I went to the CEO and said, hey, I want to do it for myself. So not for TCC anymore. And then I could do both jobs. So earn money at the same time and start the other company. But then Dane got bought by Albert Heijn in, I think, February 2021. And at that time, I was like, well, this is the moment I have to work full-time for Renewable. And I got the funds at that time to actually start the company. Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay. We are at the point where you started the company, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you go from that to getting the funds? Like, where did the funds come from?
What was the first year like?
Oh, wow. A first fund I got from a New Year's Eve party in Bonaire.
It sounds something like some kind of a spy movie.
Well, I think it's really important. I really value my network. So these were people I did not know at that time. But I met them, and then and they said, okay, you have to work with a corporate finance club to help you find founders. And then there was also a connection because they had a client from a company I knew, and they were like, oh, I want to invest in her company. So that started the ball rolling there. So
the ball was rolling. Yeah.
So then I had 2 investors, and then some people from LinkedIn came to me and said, hey, I want to invest in your company. So which is also amazing because when somebody in my inbox,
message,
crazy, and still people are coming, and so then I got 2, and then so in the end I ended up with 5 investors, and then they said we want to professionalize, so we want to have a venture capital on board. So I went back to Rubio, and then they said, okay, Helen, 50% chance that we're going to invest, but then they said if you change this, and this, we will. So they did. So that's how we're
basically the compromises here and there to get the funding.
Yeah,
because prior to this, because I think every good startup needs money to be able to operate. I guess that is the ticket to play. But did you already have a working concept then? Back then, the ball already existed. How did that?
Yeah, we had the sustainable for ABN AMRO. So that's was the part that was paid by ABN AMRO, and ABN AMRO supported us a lot with mentioning our name during the tournament. They had TV commercials, so because this product really fits their sustainable strategy, and also with the tournament. And so then, and then with the money we got from the angel investors, we could actually produce the ball. Yeah, but not in big quantities yet. But we could.
But more of a prototype.
And we could sell via our own website. Yeah,
the ABN AMRO tournament was like the kickstart for the concept.
Exactly.
As well. Because I think that's also like you have to have a good proof of concept, right, before people will consider investing.
And they developed the commercial with Richard Krajcek playing with our balls, and they sponsored bins at clubs, so people could actually after playing put in their ball into the bin, and we collect the balls and recycle the balls. So that was really and also the good thing is that it's of course it's a bank, so it's compliant, so that also helps in rolling out the rest of your strategy.
So having a good network is very important.
Yeah,
in
super important.
Stuff rolling. Yeah. Because I think we talk to more startups, and that always seems to be the thing. They run out of juice before they can get to where they need to be. Yeah. So would you say you're now in like a scale up phase, or like? I think we talked a little bit before the recording about it. How would you define Renewable currently?
No, maybe early scale up, because we sell, and we're going to next week. You can buy us at Decathlon Marketplace, and we have you can hand in your balls at Decathlon in all the stores in Germany, and soon in Austria. So you can buy them at bol.com and via our own website. So actually, we're rolling out more and more online retailers. And platforms, so we're early scale-ups because
we have some here with us. For the people listening online, of course, they cannot see this, but Helene took some Renewaballs with her, I want to touch one. I've not touched one yet.
Yeah, that's 100% sheep wool, and this is actually not bleach. So these are natural. This is our natural
white.
So which is sheep wool color.
Well, you're the tennis professional.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question is, how different is this from the original prototype that you started with?
There's more recycled content in it. And now it has different colors.
I love the pink one. The
Yes.
hot pink is my favorite.
Yeah,
that's
a lot
for
of
sure.
people love the pink.
Yeah. Especially if I imagine someone playing them on like the blue pedal courts.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So first, the International Paddle Federation only would allow yellow and white, but now because you have purple, blue, green, orange, all kinds, they allow more colors. But the funny thing is, there were some students from the UvA who were doing a tournament for us and with all guys, and they said play with the pink balls. So they were playing with the pink. There were all girls coming to where do you get those pink balls? We love your pink balls. That was
they're
really
so
funny.
great. No, they're also bright and they're like very catchy to the eye. No, that's incredible.
I mean, they just look like they look like normal tennis balls. It's like, so what is fundamentally different about this versus a traditional ball?
So this is a paddle ball.
Yeah.
And tennis and paddle balls are different because there's less gas in a paddle ball. That's why they're smaller.
They bounce less then, or something like that.
But there's also a trend now that some people want bouncier ball, and it's depending on altitude, climate. So you have now also variations in paddle balls. Yeah.
And so the material that you collect to make these balls, is it like a system where when people are done, they can...
Yeah.
How many times can a ball be recycled before it's...
Endlessly. Endlessly. Doesn't matter, no. So we give them we make actually virgin rubber quality from the old used balls, yeah.
And also balls that are not from Renewaball you also collect those?
Yeah. Of course, mainly because they are the biggest polluters. I don't have that much balls in the market to...
Of course.
Yeah.
And so these have the same, because I don't know about paddle balls, but from my knowledge of tennis balls, they have some sort of like life cycle, of course. So after some time they stop to bounce. Do these balls, like if we, for example, look at the tennis ball from Renewaball, do they have the same life cycle, or in terms of like how long they can be used before you also have to go to recycling with them?
Now, there's been a research by Deloitte, and they say the wear out of a paddle ball is about 2 to 3 matches, depending on how good you are.
2 to 3 matches?
Yeah, then people throw them away. The wear out of paddle ball is much sooner than a tennis ball.
Like, okay, I used to tennis when I was little, but I don't remember, like, you just get unlimited amounts of balls to just... But I didn't know 2 to 3 matches. That's not like great return at all.
No, and like if you imagine a professional tennis tour, for example, so they go through multiple changes of balls every single match, and they throw them away, so you cannot use them after that match anymore.
So Wimbledon and US Open use 80 to 90,000 balls during a tournament.
Really? That's
Jesus
insane.
Christ.
And nobody had the idea of all these balls is so...
No.
Well, what happens to a typical, what's the typical way of getting
Now
rid
they
of?
end up in landfill, and there's some initiative now to make sporting floors from it, but that's downcycling, because what are you going to do with a sporting floor after 10 years? Because that's the end of life of sporting floor. So there are a lot of downcycling initiatives, but we don't like downsizing a lot, so we're more upcycling. But everything you make from this product, you have to think about what's going to happen.
Because I think we've had other companies that we've talked to on this podcast about circularity, and they do different circular stuff. Everybody seems to have a different take on what is actually sustainable and circular. So what is the philosophy at Renewaball when it comes to that? Like you were just saying, like you feel like a ball should. Downcycling is not recycling.
No, it really is recycling. So actually, we used old material. The only thing we don't use is the felt. But there are some initiative in the furniture industry to use the felt again. To find also purposes for that. But also that is still in the beginning. So no, circular is that it's that there's no end of life of this product, so it's continuously
so you can keep recycling and keep getting
staying.
That's incredible.
And this is wool.
100% sheep wool. from Europe.
Oh, so recycled sheep wool then, or virgin wool as well? Blend of...
No, this is like from sheep in Norway and Yorkshire, yeah. Okay. And the good thing is that we can, if we can recycle our own bulls, then we can reuse the wool again.
Yeah, exactly. Because, it feels like a normal tennis ball, but I guess a normal tennis ball is made of polyester.
Yeah, polyester, mostly nylon is in there, and wool as well, yeah.
Are there any other balls out there that are not made of polyester or made of wool?
No, they are doing some tests with the ITF once had I think 2 years ago a test with they did 3D printing of a ball without felt, but the rules is still that there should be felt there. So yeah,
that's incredible. No, I'm just in awe. Like I'm just looking and I'm like, that's incredible. And what kind of interests me is how come none of these big players in the field, right, who are the biggest polluters in terms of tennis balls, never thought about, okay, maybe we should be more sustainable. Maybe we should, like the big, like Wilson, like the big tournaments, like the Grand Slams, for example, in tennis. Like, how come no one came to the fact is like, okay, we are doing a lot of bad stuff to our environment. Maybe let's change it up a bit with the balls.
Yeah, good idea. I don't know. The thing is that they're all mainly Chinese, Japanese, Thai. I don't know. All the brands are owned by these kind of big corporations. So it was not top of mind for them to do something for the environment.
And I see, like, of course, sustainability, it's been a bit of a trend. Maybe we're now a little bit on a downtrend with everything that's happening in the US specifically. But a thing that I always have with things that are produced sustainably is they're usually a bit more expensive because you have more operational costs and just having a sweatshop in China that pumps out
more kids.
Exactly. You have ethics to consider and also better materials. Yeah. Like how do you deal with that? How do you try to compete with like the Dunlops and the Wilsons in the world, or do you really see like a specific market for this?
No, we don't want to be a niche player because I think if we want to save the planet and do everything, it should be accessible for everybody. But still, it's more expensive, of course. But the more we produce, the lower we can get our cost price. So we can also calculate that in our sales price. So if a lot of people are going to buy renewables, it will be cheaper.
It should be the standard then.
Exactly.
It should
we want to be the benchmark in tennis and paddleballs, of course.
Are there any other companies out there that are doing similar things in the space?
No.
Do you have any idea why? I feel like...
No, we are in contact with a lot of big brands. They reach out to us and some want to work exclusively with us. And then we said no, because in sustainability, there is no exclusivity. Because if I work, because... somebody can have 60% market share in Europe or saying that it has, but we collect all the balls and we see the market share of all the balls brands. The funny thing is nobody knows the market shares of the brands and nobody knows how many balls they produce. It's like, you cannot find that anywhere and they don't tell you. So, but we know the market shares because we collect all those balls. So per country. So that's also...
It's... Does someone you have a collection bin at a padel club and then people put the balls and then you come and collect them yourself?
We collect them ourselves and we sort them by brand because every brand has a different kind of rubber. And also the color inside is different. So some are dark gray, light gray, black, blah, blah. And so then we sort them by brand and then we have our Coca-Cola recipe, which is 2 brands of this, 2 blah, blah, and then we put it in a mix and then we mix it.
Oh, that's great. But but after one renewable is done, right? If you collect these ones back, right, then you can just recycle them all together, right? You don't need to sort them out. It's already kind of finished recipe. You just mix them up. Yeah. Okay, that's so cool.
Because we know the recipe of this ball.
That's amazing.
And we don't know the recipe of the other brands.
So you have those collection bins in the different clubs, and you use it to produce these ones. Do you also work with clubs, or do you still sell to customers just directly who want to play, or is it more still specific padel club, specific tennis club?
So now we get balls from different levels. So we get balls from the French government, and they pay us. The Luxembourg government, from local initiatives like Landeskreis Biberach, which is an area in Germany, and there's an initiative in around Munich where people collect the balls. We have the city of Verona sponsors a bin at the paddle club. So that's on more governmental level. And I also now want to have a grant from the city of Amsterdam because they want to be circular in 2050. So giving me a grant so all the paddle and tennis club can collect their balls, we can recycle them. So we take part in this whole Amsterdam wants to be circular in 2050. And then we have retailers who collect, like Decathlon. And then we have also other initiatives. There are companies who collect balls in Switzerland, in Belgium, in Rome. They also give balls to us. And then we have club level, so that the bins are at tennis and paddle clubs.
That sounds like some serious volume.
Yes, but we have to have serious volumes if we want to produce serious.
Yeah, because you have like a big warehouse full of tennis balls. Yes.
My dog's dream. I just can imagine you like flying through it.
It smells terrible, I can tell you.
Yeah,
it's really bad.
I don't want to imagine
really
that.
Bad.
It's because but you do also have like, what do you have also the same amount of people that are buying the Renewaballs? It's like I can imagine that is a bit of a challenge.
You really have to look into how many balls do you need to sell your forecast. So it's really have to match each other, of course. Yeah.
And do you have partnerships with some clubs that just you always know they're gonna come and order a bunch? Yeah. Is it Netherlands or is it also worldwide?
It's the Netherlands as well because IBN AMRO started sponsoring clubs, and we're now also in talks with other parties who actually want to collect the balls. And Germany is really big, also in collecting the balls. Yeah.
Why is it? Do they have some sort of initiatives just focused on that, or?
No, I also have a good salesperson there. That helps. Yep. Who was really knows everybody in the tennis and paddle market. So that's also
that helps. Again, the connections.
Yeah, because it's like we were saying earlier that you started and you had connections and then you get some funding to get the ball rolling, so to say. But how do you get all these contacts all over the world? Is it really they come to you, or do you just happen to know people?
But that's so funny. So I didn't realize that, but through our website we get so many emails from Mexico to now South America. I just got an inquiry from New Catalonia, which is between New Zealand and Australia. They want to sell our balls. They found this somewhere. And so that's also
good marketing.
And the island of Reunion, which is a French island near Mauritius and stuff like that. So they also want to sell our balls and collect balls. So we get inquiries from all over the world.
It's good marketing then, I guess.
We won a lot of awards. I think because I have a marketing background, so I don't have a lot of. I don't spend a lot of marketing budget. So I thought, how do we get awareness? So we get awareness through winning sustainability awards. So we won a lot of 22 awards in the last 5 years, from the US to Italy, Germany, UK. And that raised a lot of PR. So that's why we're now high in Google. So if somebody Googles sustainable ball, or
you get it is one of the first things. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because I think that is specifically with your marketing background. I think it's a good question. Like, you have all these sustainable alternatives to products that are out there, and I think if we want to make the world a little bit more sustainable, we're going to have to change the standards of things. How do you go? You kind of already gave a little bit of the answer, but how do you go about positioning a brand like Renewaball in the market? Like how can you? Because I presume that these are a bit more expensive than if I were to go and buy a cheap ball, but somehow you have to communicate the message that it's worth it to spend.
Yeah, but I think it should also be shaming and blaming. When I play tennis, I always hire a court in the middle of like 6, and I play with my Renewables, and I'm a really bad tennis player, so I can play padel, but I have an injury in my knee, that's why. So then, and the balls go to the left and the right, and I said, "Hey, can you bring me those renewable?" And I was renewable. So that's also something. So when you play with another brand, you should be kind of, polluter or some SO. So yeah,
It should be red.
yeah, red flag.
Red flags, red balls.
And
Red
is
flags.
it one of the goals to for these balls to be used at tournaments, especially like you've been mentioning ABN AMRO, of course, and it's a huge deal every year. Like all the top players come to the Netherlands, come to Rotterdam. Is it one of the goals to get there?
Well, that's a very good question because we get that question a lot. Now, this we make a Type 2 ball, and which is for 99% of the market uses Type 2.
Yeah.
The Type 1 balls are used for tournaments, and they are made, especially made like handmade and checked, and they're made on temperature, where they play, altitude. So, and you have to pay a lot of money to be the
Yeah, of
ball.
course.
So that's when we don't have the money yet, but maybe once. But
Because you were talking about it earlier, right? There's different grades of balls have to be specific graded to be able
to different tournaments.
Yeah.
That's why I was curious, because I think I read somewhere that the tennis ball is like ITF
Approved,
rated,
yeah.
approved.
Yeah.
So, and I'm guessing that means that they can be used at ITF tournaments.
yes.
So that was my question. Like, are they used currently
Yeah.
there?
No, yeah, not the ATP tournament, but you can use them at your competition at your club. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, but I want to throw a competition just for that.
Yeah.
Let's all.
Yeah,
play
the
tennis
nice
and
thing
use
is that a lot
Renewaball.
of clubs have sustainable tournaments now.
Yeah.
So, and they have sustainable people in their boards, and so a lot of things happening there as well. Yeah.
because I presume that you're also in the circles of what's happening in the sports world related to sustainability. What are you seeing there?
Well, in
Change
general,
wise.
I think sport is really lacking behind. But it's getting there because nobody realized that what kind of materials you all use to do a sport. So either it's a tennis racket, it's shoes, it's clothes, it's balls. So actually to do sports, you need a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think that's now really people realize that, and they're now actually doing something about it. And also the good thing is that there's more law now, and especially in the Netherlands, there are a lot of agendas. Had a sports agenda from NOC, NSF that all the accommodations of the tennis and paddles clubs should be more sustainable. So. LED lighting, all those kind of things. And placing a bin is also then part of the accommodation because you can get rid of your balls there in a more sustainable way. So there are also from the government a lot of initiatives. So that's in sport, especially in sport. So that helps. And there is also now more EU law also that helps to be more. You cannot greenwash, so you have to tell the right story, and that also helps.
Recycle packaging,
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that.
no,
My
because
favorite
I
thing.
was buying a racket, and then there was like a label, and it says, it's super sustainable, blah blah blah. But then I looked at the website of this brand, and you cannot find anything.
Yeah, there's a lot of misinformation out there, I think.
Yes. Well, that's good that's going to change. Yeah.
I think so, yeah. Because talking about all of this, it feels like the Renewaball is a bit of a success story. Like you seem to be doing well. The ball is rolling
The
pretty
ball is rolling.
downhill.
Yes,
downhill in a good way, as in it's gaining momentum.
Yeah.
But like, maybe were there also any hard times or like
Yes.
notable?
So
Maybe
many
you-
hard times. Yeah.
Maybe you can share
Yeah, a
a
few.
story about.
Now there's it's a lot of people said to me, well, it's not easy. You have your team, you don't have money, so there's a lot of stress also, and you have to get your sales, and also some brands are blocking us because there are big agreements with tennis federation and so on. And then I say, okay, well, I can place a bin for no, because we are exclusively with blah, blah, blah. So, and then people say, yeah, but the commercial part shouldn't take over the sustainability part. And then, so that's a thing. But also, I think, raising money is, I'm full-time raising money. That's my job,
This is what we've heard more often.
Yeah. And although you don't want to do that because you want to be busy with the business, you want to sell balls, you want to get new retailers in, you that's what you want to do, but you're stuck because you need to get the money. And also the team, I think, is important because I started with somebody I knew and somebody I did not knew. So the person that I did not do went out, and then I got, we got somebody new. And then because one of the founders I started with also said, okay, well, I'm not the person to grow the business further, so you need something new. So to get a stable team and to get people.
So you're the only one that is remaining then?
Yes, I'm the only founder now. Yes, yeah.
So who continues to carry the mission?
Yes,
through it all.
Yeah, because what motivates you to keep going?
Now, I really like. I think this is like two things. What I really like. I'm more an entrepreneur. My dad was an entrepreneur. My brother's an entrepreneur. So I worked at an American company and I worked at an English company. And I think I'm more an entrepreneur. So that's what I like about it. To get things. And I worked for so many brands during my career to make them big. So I think I really want to make this brand big. So that's my marketing kind of angle. And the other thing is that I want to do something good for and I like sports. So it's 3 hobbies in one.
All the worlds came together.
Yeah, exactly. So finally all the worlds came together. But I couldn't do this if I hadn't done what I did before. Yeah. Because I think that's sometimes a difficulty if you have an idea and you don't have the experience how to do it. That's difficult. I couldn't do this when I was finished university. I was 20. I was not able to do it. But now you're faster. You know how things work. So that helps.
And you
also
have the connections.
Connections.
You have the circle.
Yeah. But sometimes I feel really old because you're in a class with all those startups, and I'm like sitting there like. Okay, I can be your mother. So, but no, it's also fun. So,
would you suggest people first get some experience in a field before they start their own business?
Yeah, I think that's also maybe why not a lot of business or try to have a good advisory board or somebody who can actually help you. To stay on track and look at the important things,
because I wanted to touch a little bit on that. I think the mission versus the business is always kind of like a game of tug of war. And of course, you have venture capital backing you. I presume that you also have an advisory board then, and they also bring in people. And you were just talking about a good team. How do you safeguard the mission? How does that work? Because I hear sometimes that people are like, well, we don't want to compromise the mission, but sometimes the reality is that you have to make decisions that are more commercial rather than
that's what I experienced last time, that people bring in ideas that are not that much sustainable to compromise and to actually grow faster. But so we decided, and also with the shareholders, not to do that because we want to focus. I also learned focus. And, but because one of my also partners said, no, then we can change the mission of the company. No. We're not going to change the mission of the company, or we change this. No, this is what we are, and then we take it from there, and then we can develop other stuff. But we have to stick to our mission and who we are and the philosophy of the company. And then the good thing is I have a team of shareholders that backing me up 100%, which also gives you a lot of confidence to do what you do. And that's what you also need, I think. And also shareholders with deep pockets. So.
So you always have the funds to continue growing.
Yeah, that's what you have. But although you need new people in, of course, they also want new people. But then you have to also look really well on who you take on board. It's important because if the majority says, no, let's change it, let's do virgin rubber. No, but Renewable is we're making balls that can be footballs, anything in the future from leftover materials. And we're not going to use virgin because, then it's not renewable.
Yeah, not recyclable.
Then I have to change the name.
Exactly.
Yeah, but we can change the name. No.
You're locked into the name.
Trademark.
It is trademarked.
It is trademarked.
Would you go into the other type of bows in the future?
That's the idea with Renewable. We started because we looked at the biggest sports, and tennis is, of course, a very big sport and still growing, and padel is also now growing, and there's a new sport growing, which is beach tennis, which uses the same ball. And but in the beginning there were also a lot of football clubs coming, say, hey, can you make footballs? We said, yes, we can, but focus here on, and then we take it from there. Yeah.
How do you make a tennis ball? Like maybe I don't know if it's any different.
Have you looked? There are some really nice films on YouTube. How they make it's like amazing. You don't know how it goes, but actually you have the rubber. You make the half shelves.
Yeah, that's the little ball inside.
Yeah, so the half shelves were stick together, glued together, and then there's glue again, and then there is this felt. But in some, they used to do it by hand. So the felt was sticked on the balls by hand. So it's a lot of work. Yeah.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You never know. Like that's what I was talking about before we started recording as well. When you play, you don't really think about it. And then when I was researching the Renewable a bit, I also looked up the tennis strings, so on the tennis rackets, because I think there was also one company who tried to do also recycle tennis strings, because they also thought about the same thing, that like, we're making tournaments more sustainable, but then we have the equipment that you use that's not sustainable at all. And so because you have to restring the racket so many times, right? They tried to do it, but I think they couldn't pass the technical assessments of any sort. So they had to stop just because they had to be so specific about the content. But I honestly think maybe something like this will reemerge in the future because, again, there is need for sustainable tennis balls. There's also going to be need for the sustainable strings.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
There is no way. But since you started, have you seen maybe other companies attempting to do a similar thing with the renewable balls?
No, because not yet. Maybe on other ways. We see a lot of collection initiative. But it's not clear what they do with the balls.
Love it.
So I think, and they also don't mention, because one of my investors was in Singapore and he sent me a picture of a big brand collecting balls, but there was not, you can hand, and which says you can put in your balls here, but nobody says what to do with it.
Just put it in and just pray.
They'll go somewhere.
Yeah, they're gonna end up somewhere. Hopefully not in the landfill.
But there are more of those. We actually, and I think the important is to explain what you're going to do with it.
So, what's next for Renewable? Maybe that's a good question.
Oh yeah, well, we have a lot of ambition. No, we want to become. So we have a lot of. Things to do on our sustainability list. So we want to become even better on sustainability, on saving CO2 emissions. So we have a lot of things we can address there. So that's one route. And of course, grow the business in Europe. We have now a distributor in the US, although the US is not, that sustainable, but they see a market for it. And next week I'm talking to a distributor for whole of Asia. So we really want to expand throughout Europe, and also there in Europe there's still some countries that we can sell more or become bigger as a brand and collect more balls. So that's
10 years from now we won't have normal tennis balls anymore.
No,
there will be. That's the ambition.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah.
Hopefully. And I hope they're going to be bright pink.
Yes.
I saw them and I was like, I need
bright
those.
Pink?
Yeah, bright pink.
Why are tennis balls yellow, green to begin with.
You know why?
I don't know why.
Oh, because they used to be white. And then you played with it. So my parent played with white tennis balls, and then they turned orange because of clay. And then we put them in a washing machine, and then they were white again, and then they played again with it. But then there was the introduction of the color TV. David Attenborough was at that time working for the BBC. And he said, okay, to see the balls better on TV, they have to become yellow. But then Wimbledon was like, no, we're not going to make them yellow. So they stick for a very long time to the white. But then in the end, then the new standard was yellow because of the color TV.
I did not know this. Did you know that?
Yep.
Okay, but
I'm the player, so I also know that Wimbledon, they still like the color of the ball is a bit different just because they play on the grass. So they still
and people have still
with the white clothes.
White.
I love it, to be fair.
I
love
too.
it. It's traditional and it's beautiful. No, but I think especially those who play not on clay, but I think the hard court when it's blue and they have like a bright pink ball, that would be cool.
Yeah. Yes.
I think this is a good one to end it off with. I'm guessing that renewable will be the new standard then in 10 years.
Yeah, you help us by spreading the message.
Spreading the message. And I heard before the recording that you're also looking for help to make this achieve this goal.
That's your space.
Yes. Now the good thing is that if you look at the culture of our company, that a lot of people come to us who really want to change the world of sports from a sustainability angle and see how many balls are used in tennis and padel. So they reach out to us, hey, I want to work for your company. So that's what I really like. And so we have some vacancy, especially into, I don't know the English word, but somebody who actually can help us organize the company from the back end. So if we get all the orders in, to make sure they're going to be produced and also make sure that all the digital platforms are working and connected. So so that's so they can email me.
We're gonna link
or LinkedIn apparently.
Or LinkedIn works as well.
And the website.
Website. There's my email address on the website.
All the links there. So don't worry, you're gonna find it in the description. So people who will be able to apply. So if you're interested,
if you want to help out Renewable, check them out.
Yeah, check us out.
Apparently, they're the first thing you get when you Google Renewable.
No, but I can attest to that. I was Renewable, and then it's like all pops up.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we close it off then?
We shall. Thank you so much again for joining us. It was great to learn more about Renewable and the whole industry in general. It was very interesting, I think, for both of us. Thanks everyone for watching and listening. My name is Lisa.
And my name is Stefan. And this is
Helene Hogeboom.
It was Popping Bubbles podcast. Thank you so much for being with us. Follow, like, share, everything. You know what to do.
Check out Renewable.
Order your balls.
Order your balls. Play tennis, go outside, get healthy.
Get healthy, but please don't inhale any more microplastics and buy Renewable. Thank you again, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you next time.
Yay!
Yeah.
I didn't know you could talk about balls for
so long. Yes, there are a lot of facts about balls.
Yeah, for sure.
You can. I'll keep the balls. I brought them for you, but
you can have them. I don't. Actually, maybe they can be massaged.
I'm going to.
Yes, you can massage them also on the ball if you like.
I have them. So before my marathon, actually, I use them to roll out like the bottoms of my feet. Like I have a few. Oh my god, next week I'm going to play padel with some of my friends. This is going to be such a hit.
Yes.
We're also like a group of girls.
Oh yeah,
so
that's
this
nice.
is going to be perfect. Yeah.